What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anything Liverpool live stream with myself and Harold and Dylan. Thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday night stream where we will preview Liverpool's upcoming Premier League game against Manchester City tomorrow at 4:30 UK time. As we currently speak, Arsenal and Sunderland are playing as we talk right now. The game is 1-1 in the 67th minute at the moment. I'm not going to jinx it and start giving predictions because that would only be the commentator's curse. And I was only slagging off Saka for nearly hitting the corner flag from his shot, and 30 seconds later the cunt went and scored. So we won't start slagging anybody off at this very moment because I seem to have the kiss of death right now because I was slagging off Richarlison and Matthias Tell in the Spurs game, and both of them scored. Well, I say scored. Richarlison got in the way is probably the best way to describe how he got his goal. But I have on the panel with me this evening, I have Harold, who is also a host with ourselves. I have Dylan and I have Ant. But before we get into everything, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos if you ever miss out. If you're currently watching on Twitter at the moment, make sure to jump down into the comments below. You will see a link to our YouTube page where you can drop us a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I also want you to get your thoughts into the comments here of who you think will be starting. Give me your score predictions. Give me what you think is going to happen in the game. But we are going to start with ourselves first of all. 2 wins in a row. Now we're set to face Manchester City, who have been undefeated in their last 5 games, both with a couple of wins and a couple of draws. Interesting times. I think they're undefeated in their last 5 games. I'm not 100% sure on that. They probably are. Fuck knows. Who cares? The only thing that matters is tomorrow's game anyway. But we're going to start with yourself, Dylan, and how you're feeling going into the game tomorrow, given the performances against both Aston Villa and Real Madrid. The theme of last night's stream was, are Liverpool back? And a lot of people would say yes, a lot of people would say no. Personally speaking, I thought we were back straight after the Aston Villa game. So, I'm just going to stick on that train. But how do you feel about the performances of the last 2 games, and where do you feel we need to improve against Man City, or do we just need a repeat of the Real Madrid performance?
Yeah, it's good to see us back in. I wouldn't say fully back yet in terms of, are we going to dominate every single game like we were kind of for periods last year? Maybe not right now, but for me, it's good to see us back in some form of form, and the stability of the last couple of games, I think, will help going into this game. I think, like you just said, about kind of almost rinse and repeat against the same way we played against Madrid, because although they won't set up pretty much exactly the same in terms of how they'll want to keep possession and attack us in a similar way, I think it will be a fairly similar setup. So I'm feeling pretty good about tomorrow, if I'm honest. I don't actually feel going into some games against City away in the last couple of years. I think last year was probably the most confident I've been we were going there to get a win. But obviously with the results we've had there over the years, previous to that, it was kind of like each time you go there, would we get a result? You wouldn't feel too sure about it. But I feel pretty good about tomorrow, if I'm honest with you. I know Haaland is doing well recently, but other than that, I think if we can actually stop that, and we looked a lot more solid the last 2 games defensively in particular. So I feel if we can keep the defensive work the same way it's been and the shape the way it's been the last couple of games, then I feel pretty confident going in tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. To be honest, if City play an awful similar game to Real Madrid in the fact that they don't play that many long balls, and the fact that they seem to be one of the teams that operates the lowest in sort of directness, if that makes sense. They're very much a slow build-up, methodical build-up team. Quite similar to yourselves to that degree, but I feel we have the better pressers up front that will be able to handle that and make them go long. Harold, how are you feeling following the last couple of games? You were one of the more animated people during our bit of a poor run of form. Deck here is asking in the comments as well, is tomorrow a must-win? I would argue no. I would very happily get out of the Etihad with a draw. I'm fine with that. The way we won the league last year is winning our home games and not losing our away games. You do that the entire season, you're sat on a minimum of about 75 points and you're undefeated. But how, Harold, are you feeling about the last 2 performances and carrying that momentum into this performance now tomorrow? Because you don't want to be nearly too overzealous in the confidence, because people thought we were going to get twatted by Real Madrid, and then we come out and just absolutely ran them off the pitch. So it's a hard one to call.
Well, if I'm also afraid of jinxing things, so I'm going to be negative until we probably hold the Champions League or the Premier League. But no, to be serious, the performances we've delivered in the last two games, especially the one against Real Madrid, I'm pumped again. I think this is we're semi back. In my opinion. And we haven't had the clean sheet before, unless the Arsenal game, and now we have two. And the way we've kept the clean sheet is, for me, the most important thing. So I think I kind of have to disagree a little bit, Steven, because since Pep Linders came back and came to City, they have been a little bit less possessional than they have been before he came. I read an article today about that. So they do have a little bit less possession. I do think they're going to do some long balls up to Haaland to see if he can threaten us. But without that and without Rodri, I don't really fear them at all. I don't see us losing. Draw, yeah, I can live with that, as you said, but I don't think we're going to lose tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm of the very same opinion. I think the way, if we look at the pass maps that were there for the Real Madrid game, it was very much that they lacked a right winger, and they really just pinged it to Vinny Jr. every time, and Conor Bradley had obviously the game of his life locking him up. I feel it'll be similar this time, but central to Erling Haaland. And their midfield essentially is probably going to be the likes of, I think their midfield tomorrow, because Pep said that Rodri isn't playing tomorrow and they're not risking anything, and they're going to let him come back after the international break. Fine by us. I think personally he's done, but there we go. Arsenal are 2-1 up. Is what it is. Worry about ourselves. I'm not arsed about it. But anyways, the way, apparently it was a good goal too, but
I didn't see it, but I don't care.
No, I didn't see it, but I'm just seeing group chats go off and say it was a good goal. Is what it is. I'll take a look at it on the stats now in a minute and see what it was like. But nonetheless, their midfield will be like Nico Gonzalez, Phil Foden, and Reinders, I suppose, would be their sort of midfield three, and then they'll probably have Bernardo Silva on one wing, maybe Cherky and maybe Doku. It'd be on either wing, and Haaland up front probably. That's a midfield that can be got at physically, in my opinion, and we have a very physical midfield in Alexi McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Ryan Gravenberch. Now, the only issue I would see is if they bypass that midfield by going long, but we then have 2 6'4" centre backs that are very, very good in the air. It's just a matter about winning the second balls. And how do you feel with the game tomorrow? Do you feel, as Deck has asked in the comments, is it a must win, or are you happy to get out of the Etihad with a draw?
Well, it's definitely a must not lose, that's for sure. But with the game, I know, so I don't think they've gone 5 games unbeaten. I think they lost 1-0 to Villa, I think. But that's the only one that they've lost. They've not drawn any. I think they've won the others. I'm sort of confident going into it because I feel like they do need Rodri. They do need Rodri to hold that midfield for themselves. And with our midfield, the way they are together, being that perfect midfield, and like you said, they can bypass that so easily. I think it'll be a close game, but I think we will win it. I can see it being like a 2-1 win. I'm not one to say, I don't like to jinx it, because touch wood, I've never had that effect yet. But it is a difficult game to sort of predict because of how both teams play when they play each other. It's like we say when we're on about the Man United games that we play. It's not predictable because that's when people show up, and that's when either side is like, right, we want to win this for bragging rights, and that's what tomorrow will be. It will be mostly for bragging rights. and to see who can get up to that second place. So,
yeah. It's going to be, look, the only thing that we can look at with ourselves at the moment is just ourselves. Arsenal can do what Arsenal can do. They've conceded 1 goal from 6 expected in their last number of games. As much as anybody wants to think that XG is a horrible stat and it doesn't work and it's not a thing that works, the bill comes due every single time. It happened them last year. It happened them the year before. But it's what it is. People will see Liverpool are still winning the league at the end of the season, and anybody that doesn't believe me, you had great odds a couple of days ago, considering we were 16-1 to win the league, and I threw 20 quid on it. But nonetheless, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at some predicted lineups and who we would like to see lining up. Dylan, I'll come to you first on this with how you see us lining up and where do you what do you see the sort of tactics to be with the lineup tomorrow?
So it's probably going to be a bit of a boring response, but in terms of how I would go, I would just set up in exactly the same way that we did on in midweek against Real Madrid, if I'm honest. Exactly the same 11. I put the same team out. In terms of the way it worked on in the week with Ryan Gravenberch back, allowing people to kind of move forward. Same with the Villa game, having him back in there allowed more space for us to press a little bit higher, to be more controlled in the higher kind of areas with T behind us, I think helped. So I would just be setting up in exactly the same kind of, like you said, stronger than in midfield in terms of our physicality against another team which is potentially a little bit more technical with like Foden and maybe Reinders in there than potentially runners and kind of physicality in there. So if we can kind of win that battle of it and see if we can get further at the pitch in that respect, then great. And in terms of if it was to be a change, I think the only change that I would potentially foresee to it would be, if we're trying to be a little bit more attacking in terms of that, would be Wirtz and Gakpo maybe based on how he's set up previously. But I think with Wirtz, with how much running and how well he played in the week, I wouldn't be taking him back out of the team. I would put him back in. I know everyone's got their agenda against him because of his assists, because of his goals, but look at the work rate he put into the game on the other night and how much he actually produced for us without producing an assist, without producing a goal. So I would still be going with him in there rather than Gakpo, if I'm honest, for tomorrow. And I would just set up exactly the same way, hopefully get the same outcome as we did against Real Madrid.
Yeah, and the best thing about setting up the exact same way against Real Madrid, against Man City, is you're not facing Thibaut Courtois in the goal, which is an absolute blessing, because I think somebody done the maths on it, and 23% of his saves in the Champions League since the 2022 final have been against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Wasn't it all Champions League games?
All Champions League games, 23% of them were against Liverpool, which is mental to think. And how do you see us lining up tomorrow? Is it very much a similar answer to Dylan in that just set up the exact same way? If it ain't broke, don't fix it?
Yeah, literally that. It's just, like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Definitely have Wirtz on the left. There's going to be so many people disagreeing with me, saying, oh, his comfortable positions on the right or in cam, whatever. But I do think he played so much better on the left wing compared to Gakpo anyway. I think it's just, I don't really know what more to add, because it just is as simple as play how we played against Madrid and we'll breeze through it. It's simple as that. There's not much else I can say to it, to be honest. Sorry.
No, you're completely right. And how we won the Madrid and the Aston Villa games is we just did something that we hadn't been doing in the other games previous to that. Is we were creating enough chances, we were winning enough duels, but it was the second balls beyond the long balls that were played. So all of the long balls that were played against us, against Chelsea, against United, against Palace and whatnot, we won the aerial duel, but we didn't win the second ball that broke from that. And that was the problem, because then that immediately had us on the back foot. Also, in our build-up play, something we weren't doing is we were letting Ryan Gravenberch go forward way too much. With regards then to how we built up against Villa and how we built up against Real Madrid, we dropped both of the pivots deeper to receive the ball. All three midfielders were coming short to receive the ball at different times. So there was at least two of them there. It was either a combination of Gravenberch and McAllister, or a combination of Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, or a combination of Szoboszlai and McAllister. We always had an additional two in build-up in front of our two centre-backs, and that's what really sort of helped us get the ball through our midfield and out to our wingers and out to our fullbacks that were sending the ball forward then. But Harold, how do you see us lining up tomorrow? Everybody seems to go with the same of just play the same team, play the same way, and it is that simple. Is it that simple in your mind as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I kind of sort of agree with Dylan. The only change I think can happen is that Gakpo comes in and plays instead of Wirtz. But I also want Wirtz. I think he had the second most distance when it comes to the Real Madrid game after Szoboszlai. So the work rate he has is outstanding, and we need that tomorrow as well. The thing you talk about, that we had two holding midfielders in front of the centre backs, that was something that Slot started with in the first games in the first season. So I think that gave us the control we didn't have in the club. So I think that is a key he has to continue on as long as we play the way we do. So don't change anything. I mean, it's too early. I mean, he tried the soonest approach, changed everything at once, and fingers crossed, and that didn't work. So I think him going back to the proven tactics and setup, I think that is important now. I don't know, maybe past Christmas, and then get the new guys in, get the climatize the new players, get them into the system, and then do small changes and not all at once. So don't change anything. We need this win or a good performance again before the international break. We don't need doubting ourselves again. That can be damaging.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And I don't see how just a good... If we played the exact same way as we played against Madrid, we walk this, in my opinion. We put 2 or 3 past them because Donnarumma hasn't a scratch on Thibaut Courtois. And if Szoboszlai is firing shots like that in, and Salah's getting the chances that he is, and Ekitike is getting the headers that he is, and we were getting headers from set pieces, I could see 2 or 3 going past them. Now, I'm not going to look ahead past them and start looking past them. They're still Manchester City at the end of the day. It's more so looking at the individual battles of where certain people may be. And that, as Ben points out here, is their midfield currently is a dream one for out of possession against our midfield. Just completely outmuscles them. Like Szoboszlai will run riot against Phil Foden in a 10. Absolutely. He'll also run riot against Reinders and Nico Gonzalez. Mental, like. And then you have Ryan Gravenberch and Alexi McAllister that'll be there. I don't agree with Ben's comment saying put Jones in for McAllister. Why? McAllister's had 2 of the best games of his fucking season so far. Why are you benching him for a fella coming back from an injury? It makes no sense whatsoever. McAllister was one of the best midfielders in the world last season and had a bit of poor form to start this season. There's a reason Jones barely started last season. That's because McAllister, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai. Jones doesn't touch this midfield in the current form that it's in. Simple as. Unfortunately, we don't need more sideways passes and backwards passes. If we're up 2-0 and you want to conserve a lead, then yes, bring him on then, because he'll keep possession and not advance it and just continue to recycle it. That's valuable in that situation, but not when you're trying to go for a goal. It's just not what you need to do, unfortunately. And that's just the player that Jones is, I'm afraid. But I'm going to show FootMob's what's the word? Their predicted lineups, and I want to see what people think of this because it'll be interesting. But before I do that, actually, I will ask everybody to make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure that you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos as well, so that you never miss out. It'll be very interesting to see how we get on tomorrow. If you have any thoughts on the game tomorrow and any thoughts on how people are going to set up, make sure you put your comments down below. We will get to them and we'll have a look at them. Just looking at some of the comments here from somebody LFC, Arsenal are not as good as people think. No, they're not. They're far from it. Sunderland are literally giving Arsenal these 3 points. They gave them the goal. That first goal for Arsenal was just basically handed to Arsenal. It was just, here you go. Here's a goal. Enjoy. It was just so fucking stupid. Just playing it out, trying to dribble out against 3 to 4 Arsenal players while you had 2 or 3 more behind you against one of your own defenders was the most brain dead thing I've ever seen in my life. But nonetheless, Arsenal have conceded 1 goal against an expected 6 in their last number of games. I don't know if that's the Premier League only or if that's just their last number of games total. But the XG Grim Reaper comes due and always will come due. And they are not creating from open play. In that game today, they had a grand total of. This will be very interesting now because they've scored 2 goals. So I want to see what the stats were.
And I can just add there, Stephen. I watched the game earlier, and when Sunderland took the lead, they tried to park the bus. They gave the initiative. They gave the initiative to Arsenal. And after Arsenal scored 2-1. Sunderland has been pressing. They had major chances they could have scored at. So, in that
it just makes no sense, does it?
Yeah, and in that sense, I agree with somebody LFC. They gave the game away. They gave the initiative and they gave everything away instead of trying to play football. And that's the mistake. I mean, you can park the bus if you're good at it, but you can't do it if you're not good at it.
Yeah, like Burnley are good at it. Yeah. They've done it against us, and then they went out and tried to play openly earlier today against West Ham, and West Ham put 3 past them. Burnley are good at parking the bus, and people were saying earlier, the mighty Burnley, we barely beat them. Yes, because they had 20% possession and they put 11 men in their own 6-yard box. That's why it took until a 90th minute penalty for us to win that game. But Arsenal so far in this game, they've had 6 shots on target, 14 shots total, and they've got 1.39 XG from that, scoring 2. That's not sustainable. It has never been sustainable, and it will always come due and bite them in the ass. They have 1.04 XG from open play while scoring 2 goals from open play. Over the course of an entire season, that will bite them in the arse. It bit them in the arse last year, bit them in the arse the year before that. They are great defensively, but they have been getting worse and worse and worse from creating from open play. Over the course of a season, that is not... that is not sustainable, and nobody seems to want to believe me. But I'll have the last laugh.
I do believe you, Stephen, but the problem is sometimes you have to win the games when you're not playing well. And
no, absolutely,
you do have to take advantage of it.
Sorry?
No, I completely agree. But over the course of a season, it will come back to bite them. We weren't playing great to begin the first 5 games of the season, but we ground out results. Then the XG Grim Reaper came due. And all of a sudden, we couldn't hit a barn door with a shovel, even though we were creating so much. And we were then starting to concede at the other end as well. Swings and roundabouts. It will happen Arsenal as well.
But that means there was a change. You know, we started creating things and then didn't score. If they win games with low expected goals and then start creating as well, and the XG goes up and then the score goes up, they have survived the bad period. And that's the tricky one here.
No, I get that. But see, it's over the course of the season is where I'm coming from, because they've done the exact same stuff last year and they've done the same stuff the year before that. They were great from set pieces. They were great defensively. And they just weren't all that great from open play. And it bit them in the ass come late January, February and March. That's when it really bit them in the arse and they just completely fell away. I think I seen somewhere, it was so big on Twitter for a while. Somebody put up something that was like, here's the next 11 games or something like that. And we were both going to, us and Arsenal were both going to end up on 55 points. It took Arsenal, I think that was posted in November or December. It took Arsenal until March to then get to those 55 points. So it comes due every season without fail. So it'll be interesting to see at what point it does come due this season. It may be too late when it comes due, and it might be in April when they're 7 or 8 points ahead, and it'll still come due at that point. But if you maintain pressure on them and you're within at least three fixtures of them, 9 points, what is it now at the minute? They're up on 28. We win tomorrow, we're within 7 of them again. If you stay within 7 points of Arsenal between now and February, they'll collapse. They don't have a winning DNA. They have a bottler's DNA, in my opinion. I don't think they have the sustainability to be able to go for the rest of that season. But something I wanted to point out about how Man City and Real Madrid play, and people will find this very interesting. We're going to have a look at graphs, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to love this.
From you?
So, yeah, from me. Imagine. So, as we can see here, this is across your bottom axis here. You have possession, and these are the top 7 leagues in Europe at the moment. I'll go top 5 leagues, make it a bit easier. So top 5 leagues. This is obviously Bayern Munich or PSG up here, and then there's Bayern Munich there, and then that's Olympique Marseille. You have Bayer Leverkusen there as well, who are doing very well, and Jarell Kwanzaa is having an absolute stormer. But if we zoom in a little bit here, we can see Manchester City and Real Madrid are right here beside each other. Very little difference between them. They average about 6 passes per possession, and they average just between 55 and 60% possession. They play incredibly similar. It's unbelievable. So even looking at this, does this reinforce, Ant, your opinion of get your forwards, get Wirtz, Ekitike, Szoboszlai, Salah, McAllister and Gravenberch, and just use that sort of front 5 or front 6, should I say, to press the ever-living shit out of them and make them play the long ball?
Yeah, I mean, by that, they play exactly like Real Madrid. And like you said earlier, the only problem when we were playing Real Madrid was the goalkeeper, Courtois, which they don't have. They don't have him. So we have a bit more luck on our side in terms of who we have to face in goal. So I do think them five players that we just put up, press and face them and try and put so much pressure on them, make them play them long balls, will cause them so much distress and so many problems to the point where we will capitalize on it. And again, we won't have the goalkeeper to become a problem, which we should just ease through and get them goals.
Yeah, I completely agree. And when we look at this as well,
2-2. Fuck off.
Oh, was it 2-2?
Yeah, get the
come on.
No
Sorry.
fucking way. Is it 2-2?
Fuck off, is it actually?
It is 90 plus 4.
I'm refreshing it and nothing's coming up. Who scored?
I don't care. And of course, Arsenal are complaining. A head injury, or he touched my hair.
Brian
it's
Robbie.
2-2. That's absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful.
Brian Brobby in the final minutes. You know.
Yeah, I've just seen it. They're not going to disallow that. That's fine.
Yeah,
Is
Oh,
it? So
that's
there's
beautiful.
no indication.
Doesn't look to me. No, they win a header and then he wins it with like an overhead kick.
Come on.
Oh, and cue the Arsenal.
and Gabriel is claiming a high
kick. Cue the extra players.
But look, he's claiming the high kick.
Did I not tell you the XG Grim Reaper comes due? He comes due every season.
Yeah, but
without
XG, offensive XG, doesn't have anything with a defensive XG.
You know?
Fuck, you know.
Fucking I don't think I've heard you get something wrong yet.
Death, taxes, XG. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but you can't name expected goals offensively when it comes to defensively.
Well, no, I think they got that first goal and they panicked and thought, right, we're not going to get any more. Let's just defend.
Fuck off.
Sorry, it's been allowed, yeah? Nobody...
Yeah, it's been allowed. It's been allowed.
It's been allowed. Oh, fucking get in. Right, well then, with that result, if it ends that way, right? Oh, that's hilarious. 90 plus 4. Oh, you love to see it.
Table. Yeah.
Looking at the table tomorrow, that means a win will bring us within 5 points.
Yeah.
So, as I said, the league isn't over, but fun times ahead.
We'll have
for
to
everybody.
play a game tomorrow.
Yes, we still have to play a game tomorrow. We still have to get 3 points tomorrow. It is not all done. But, and as well as one of the guys in the other chat that's been on this and on this stream a good few times, Drew has mentioned conceding 2 because they were bullying them. And as you mentioned, Harold, you were watching the game similar to myself. Once they got the first goal, they still kind of pressed them a little bit in the first half. The second half, they just stepped off. And then they conceded. And then they conceded again. And then they started going at them and attacking them. Sunderland could have won this 3-0 if they just kept going.
Absolutely.
Oh, That's
It's gonna
funny.
be
Sunderland are
interesting
going
when
to
we
surprise
face
an
them.
awful lot of teams this season. I'm very happy for them because they're probably the nicer team in the Northeast, other than the ones in black and white. But we won't
like I
mention
said, it is going to be very interesting when it comes to our turn against them. See how they play against us.
Yeah. Well, like if you take a look at how Burnley played against West Ham today, Burnley parked the bus against us. They've had 20% possession, and then they go on to play West Ham and they have over 50% possession and they concede 3.
Yes, like you said, they put 11 men against us in the box.
That's what I mean. And people saying, oh, yeah, the mighty Burnley that we only scraped a victory. Yes, let's just leave out the context that they parked 11 men in the bus. And they parked 11 men in the bus and the coaching staff in the box. But is what it is. Do you know what would be hilarious if Sunderland got a 3rd?
Oh, please.
Oh,
You've not got
that's
anything
not gonna
wrong so
happen. That's
far.
not gonna happen.
Please. Please. I mean, it's
Arsenal corner.
97th minute, but please. If there's
Apparently
anyone out there
Dan
now.
Ballard, after getting the block of the game there from
Come on,
what
get it
I'm-
out.
what I'm noticing.
Almost.
Oh, fucking don't do us like that.
Come on, blow it up, ref. Blow it up. Yeah, that's full
Come
time.
on, blow it now.
I think that's full time. I think it's full
Yeah,
time. I'm
98th
looking at
minute.
football at the moment.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm just looking on Google, the ticker. I think that's
Oh,
it.
come on.
Lads, come on now. Let's.
And now Arteta is going like pointing to his fucking clock, you twat. I'm sorry, but I hate that Lego player manager.
Oh, he's a dope. He's an absolute dope.
Yeah, I don't know.
blow it
I
up, ref.
genuinely think there's something there that's keeping him there. Like there's something behind the scenes that's keeping him in a managerial role. I think he's fucked it up
Ref,
that much
blow
that
it
no
up.
one's interested.
Ref, blow it up.
Come on.
Blow it up.
Come on.
Blow.
You're in the 99th minute. Blow it up.
Come on,
Blow
fucking
now.
hell.
Oh, come on, you can't watch your.
Lads, what are we doing? 99th minute, like.
Surely not.
Matt's, just to answer the question for you, no, Isaac will probably not be starting, but he back for the derby. Is it like tomorrow? Yeah, he's back tomorrow. He'll be in the squad, but I don't think he's going to be starting personally.
No, he definitely won't be starting. No chance he'll be starting after coming back from injury.
No. I think
he'll probably get 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, that'll probably be the height of it, in my own opinion.
Yeah.
Full time, says Ben. Get in!
Come on.
There we go. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Fucking love it.
You can only worry about yourself, guys, but when others do a bit of help for you, it absolutely.
Others' misery is not to be shunned.
Yeah, I'm chuffed.
Yeah. I love
That's
it.
a great result. Now, back to our own result for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to take a look at sort of how people press as well, if you take a look at PPTA, that's here. So, this is passes per defensive action. The fewer you have, the better pressers you are. And there's Liverpool right there. Man City, however, if we just go and take a look at the Premier League, they're, not the greatest of pressing teams. They allow nearly 1.5 times the amount of passes per defensive action that Liverpool do. So what passes per defensive action means is basically how many passes the opposition gets before you win the ball back. And we allow 9, they allow 12. So somebody LFC mentioned in here, yes, you were right. Arsenal are rubbish. And I called it as well. But look, it's what it is. You learn, boys. You learn. I'm always right. You just don't like my tone. But yes, this is clearly one of the admins as well being like, good call. Yes, it was an absolutely great call. But what we're going to take a look at now is I'm going to come off this and I'm going to start sharing something a little bit more beautiful, which is great. And just look at that.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's
90 plus 4. Oh,
it was a good goal from Trossard as well.
Lego-headed art. Yeah. Oh, it's just brilliant. It's brilliant. And to be fair, it was a great goal by Trossard.
Yeah,
what a
outside
finish.
of the box.
Yeah, it was great. I think it was very, very, very low percentage of a chance. But fair folks, it goes in, it goes in.
But they didn't capitalise.
No, they didn't capitalise. And to be honest, I feel bad. Sunderland probably let a result get away from them here. Realistically, Sunderland let a result.
They could have easily won that.
They could have had 2 or 3
before
they even conceded Sunderland, which was grand. But they should have done more in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But they've done their job. They got a point, and they are now sat very comfortably in the top half. I think they're in top 4 now.
The third
if
at the moment.
I'm right.
Aren't they second?
No, the third at the
They're
moment.
third.
Uh,
Third, just behind on goal difference. Behind, like, if you told somebody at the start of the season that this would be the top 4, not a single person would have fucking believed you.
Oh, no,
They would have to
not even
commit
if you
Nobody
told
would
them
have believed.
just Sunderland were going to be in the top 4.
Yeah. Oh, but even Spurs as well. Like, Spurs have been horrific this season, despite their results. Like, they've been terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to continue winning games. I think they've scored 20
like
goals
Christmas
from
lights.
10 expected. That's going to bite them in the ass as well. But enough about expected goals, because I know Arrow's going to jump through the screen and kick my head in.
Yeah, I should see his face getting red.
Yeah. So this is how FootMob has us lining up tomorrow. Essentially, what everybody's formation would be, which is that the lads have had 5 days rest, so I don't see it. I don't see how it couldn't be. But, and as well, if you think about it as well, the upcoming run that Liverpool have following the international break is quite, I say cushy. It's not a cushy run, but it's an awful lot easier than what we've had so far. So if you take a look at the run that we have after the international break, we play Forest at home, PSV at home, West Ham away, Sunderland at home, Leeds away, and then obviously Inter. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 league games there that you would expect we would get 12 of 12 points from. In my own personal opinion, we should beat Forest at home. We should beat West Ham away. We should beat Sunderland at home, although they're playing very well at the moment. We should beat Leeds away, even though that's going to be a bitch of a trip. My dad is going to that game, actually. So if he goes and we lose, it's his fault.
Keep that in mind.
So between when we go to the next 4 games in the league, you should expect 12 of 12 points. You would want 12 of 12 points.
You'd want all the points on all the games, to be fair.
Yeah. And to be fair, you would expect that we beat PSV as well. They're good going forward, but not that great defensively. And I feel Inter are very much false, shall we say, leaders in the league, in the Champions League at the moment. They've played nobody above, I think, pot 3. They haven't played pot 1 or pot 2 yet, whereas we've played the only team we've played outside of pot 1 and 2 is Galatasaray, which we lost, but we won the other 3 games, which was Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid.
I of course we have to finish the game tomorrow, but the Forest game, that can be a tricky one because that's the first game after the international break. We don't know what players come back in form, if there are any injuries.
It does depend on how players come back.
Yeah, and
touch wood, everybody comes back healthy. This is under the presumption that everybody comes back healthy. You should win that game.
But Forest has also gotten Deutsch. And he has then, and he will then have 2 weeks to prep his defensive system better. So we're not going to, say it's an easy win. I think that's going to be, if we win that one and continue like we did before the international break, I think that will give us a momentum that's going to be very important for us.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. If we win City and we beat Nottingham Forest, that's a great set of momentum. To keep the momentum going into the international break and then pick it up straight away where we left off after the international break, I feel will be very, very, very good for us. Because then you're going into a PSV game then 4 days later. There's a nice bit of breaks between all of those games as well, because you can obviously see we had 5 days of break between Real Madrid and Man City. Then we go and it's Forest at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. That's fine. It's a normal game. You probably wouldn't expect Alexi McAllister to play that game because he's obviously traveling back from South America at the time. Alisson won't be traveling to Brazil, so he will be fit and available hopefully for that game as well. You then have 4 days break between there and PSV, another 4 days break between there and West Ham, and then it's a very short turnaround for that Premier League game. And then it's another short turnaround between Sunderland and Leeds. So this would be the difficult week here, in my opinion, between West Ham and Liverpool and Leeds, purely just from the turnaround. It's essentially 3 games in 6 days. So it's very, very, very tight. But we're going to take a look at the Man City predicted lineup. And we'll take a look at where we think the problem areas will come from and where we think we should target as well. So I'm going to ask yourself, Errol, first in relation to this. Where do you think Man City could cause us problems, and where do you think we should target against them?
The big problem is Haaland, without a doubt. If he starts running, especially between Bradley and Konate, we will have some issues. But Doku is also a good one, but I don't think Bradley's going to have any issues with him when he's kind of just emptied his pockets with Vinicius. I seriously, I only fear Haaland. He's the only one I really don't care about. I mean, Silva is old. He's not what he used to be. You mentioned earlier that Donnarumma is not Courtois, and I agree with that. But Donnarumma can still have an amazing game.
Yeah.
He's more on and off than Courtois. But if he has his day, he's going to be a problem as well. But if we create the chances like we did against Real Madrid, I don't see any problem at all. If we contain Haaland, I think that's the key.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It, considering that, and this is a true stat, and you can Google this if you want to check it. Erling Haaland is Man City's top scorer. Their next top scorer is Esteve from Burnley.
Sorry?
That is not a joke.
Yes.
Well, after
Erling
the things he's
Haaland-
been saying before, I believe him.
Erling Haaland is Man City's top scorer. The only person that has scored more goals for Manchester City, other than Erling Haaland, is Esteve from Burnley, who scored 2 own goals in the same game.
So what is he? Every other player scored just 1 goal.
Just 1 goal. Foden, I think. Well, I think some might have 2 since I looked at that last, but nobody has gotten more than Esteve. So that's it. So your next highest
That's a
score is
stat
another
on
as
that.
an opponent's player.
And he's not playing.
So this is what Arl means in relation to, like, you cut Haaland out of the game and man mark him out of the game. They have nothing.
Imagine having that stat of being at Burnley and still being City's second highest goal scorer.
I mean, I don't know if you'd wear it as a badge of honor or anything. It's just one of the. It's funny though, in my own personal
That's what I
opinion.
mean.
Like,
It's a funny stat to have.
It's one of those where it's kind of like Cole Palmer with Chelsea. You pull Cole Palmer out of that side, they become increasingly worse. And they have sort of solved that recently because they've had no other choice to. But for many stretches of last season and the season before, if Cole Palmer wasn't playing or wasn't playing well, you didn't fear Chelsea in any way, shape, or form at all. They just decided then to go and throw another 600 million at a school full of children and bring them all into the side. Like, but I would agree, Arl, straight away. Haaland is the problem. He is. You stop him, you stop City, in my own opinion. Even as somebody LFC is mentioning here, you take Doku out of the game along with Haaland and we win the game. Simple. I wouldn't even say we win the game, but you nullify City to the point that they're a non-threat and they're just going to be like Real Madrid playing around at the back, because that's all they did as well.
And
which I found,
and they don't have a plan B as well. If Haaland isn't the one saving them, they don't know what to do. So
because they rely on him too much.
Yeah, because he's
basically.
I mean, he scores goals. I mean, in his sleep, it's scary. But if he has a day off or if he's taken out, and I mean, the only defender he doesn't really like is Virgil, and if Virgil takes him out, well, they have nothing. They're not good at set pieces. I mean, they can score, but they're not Arsenal or Stoke. But they have nothing. It's Haaland, and
it goes back to that generic saying, though, doesn't it? You've always got to have a backup plan.
Yeah,
which they don't. Like you said, they don't. They rely too much on Haaland, and that's where they fuck up.
And
even if you look back even to the last 4 games that they played, the last loss against Aston Villa, that was the last game Haaland didn't score in because Villa just marked him out of it. And in fairness, when they played against Bournemouth, Haaland bagged 2, and then when they played against Borussia Dortmund in the middle of the week as well, Haaland bagged 1 there in the 29th minute as well. But realistically, one game that they didn't win and they had problems in creating, Haaland played and bagged an absolute stinker of a game. I'm looking at it here. He had 7 passes, and in the whole game, he had 17 touches. You give him that type of a game, he can't affect the game, meaning that now all of a sudden United's plan A, B, and C gets fucked out the window, and you're relying on Jeremy Doku that can't hit a barn door with a shovel, just dribbles to nowhere. Phil, I was good 2 seasons ago, Foden, and Bernardo, I'm off to a retirement home in 6 months for Silva. Like, it's basically what you're planning on. And as we said, like, we have plans 1, 2, 3, and 4 sat there on the team. When you have Ekitike, Ekitike is getting a goal tomorrow. I just know it.
I'm putting that bet around for now. After you say
he's getting a goal tomorrow. I'm convinced of it. He's getting a goal tomorrow.
Can I share a thought about Ekitike?
Yes, please. I mean, and then Dylan, we'll get your thoughts on everything as well. You've kind of been sat there in silence for a little while.
he hit the ground running, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. But I kind of sit with the feeling that he's starting to look a little bit like Nunes. I mean, he has headers. He misses the goal. I mean, he shoots.
I would agree with you to the extent that, yes, he has missed a couple of chances in the last few games, but he has scored more recently than Isak, and they've both and of the last 8 games, Ekitike has started 5 and Isak has started 3. It's not really that massive of a difference, and the one game where they both started, Ekitike was the one that played better and got a goal.
Yeah, but I'm not comparing him to Isak.
No. I know that, but in the Nunes comparisons, he offers so much more. He offers everything that Nunes offers, plus a clinical ability that he does have, and he also has the same skills as Bobby Firmino to be able to drop short, participate, and build up. Nunes didn't have that technicality side of his game. He was very much a sledgehammer, just fuck it. He was Haaland, just without the goal scoring. He had pace, he had power, he had aerial ability. He just couldn't finish a wank. That was the problem with him.
I agree, but the last games, I mean, I see resemblance. I'm not saying he is Nunes, and I'm not saying he's going to become Nunes, but I see some of the worrying signs like I saw in him. That's all I'm saying.
No, I get that. And I do see where people would come from with regards to that. But in my own opinion, from watching him in the Bundesliga and with Frankfurt and watching him pair up with Omar Marmoush for half a season, the reason Omar Marmoush had 30 plus goals and assists in half a season was because of Ekitike. The work that he does is ridiculous. So I don't think you're probably going to see the best of Ekitike. And I don't mean to say you probably won't see the best of him. I still think he gets 20 goals this season. Not in all competitions, not just the Premier League. I think we're going to spread our share quite a lot across a lot of players. And that's fine. I'd rather that, because that gives you a plan A, B, and C, unlike City. But I feel that his ability, that if he's not able to affect the game with his goal scoring, he can affect it with his passing and his build-up play, which then creates space for others. If you look back to the Real Madrid game, what he was doing was he was making sure that Salah and Wirtz had space, because he was pinning Huijsen and Militao by making sort of diagonal runs either side to the corners and playing like a backboard. So Bradley would play a line-breaking pass through to him. Ekitike will be able to hold it up, turn, and then lay it off, and all of a sudden we're on top then getting into the box that way. There's an awful lot more to it than just him scoring goals. And I said this with Nunes as well, but the problem is he really wasn't scoring goals, and he was given a lot of the chances. And somebody LFC mentioned in here that we don't create enough chances for our strikers. We create enough chances for our strikers. We create enough chances for all of our forwards to score. There's never been an issue with that. But I do understand the concern. But having watched the kid for the last year and being somebody that was in his camp since at least January, he will be so good. That guy is going to be a consistent 30 GA a season striker, and it is going to be absolutely phenomenal to watch him. He is also going to end up making sure Isak bags 30 goals a season. And when the two of them start playing up top together, you're really going to see how good the two of them can play off each other.
It's just when he decides to play them both together.
That won't happen until Salah leaves.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, would that only happen when he leaves?
That'll only happen when Salah leaves. We'll play a 4-3-1-2 where it's two up top, our wing backs get forward, and it becomes a 2-3-5, so to speak, or a 3-2-5, in that one of the central midfielders will drop into a centre back role and make like a back three. And you have a midfield three that we have this season of McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch. You can then play Wirtz ahead of them in a free role that can roam back and forth left and right, like he loves to do, because you've seen him against Real Madrid. He was absolutely everywhere. Dylan, you've been sat silent. We've been chatting bollocks. Where do you see areas that we will target tomorrow, and where do you see areas that City will target tomorrow? Just looking at these predictive lineups, if they were the lineups tomorrow, where do you see the problem areas being for us, and where do you see that we'll create problems for City?
Yeah, don't worry, fellas. I don't mind. I don't like jumping in and interfering with everything, making noise over people. That's all. On the way we're going to set up, like I said about it being similar to Real Madrid, I think if we have the kind of two, like we said in midfield, the two almost pivots in front of the defenders, they're not exactly identical in terms of how the players will play if you relate player to player. But when you think of their danger men compared to the other night with Real Madrid, so Haaland and Mbappe, for example, they're not technically the same types of player. They're not going to be doing the same sort of stuff on the pitch. But when you think of their goal ratios, if you compare them, Mbappe, we managed to get him, I think he was nullified, so I think it was 4 or 5 touches in our box throughout the whole game, and I think 3 of them came in the first half. So if we can stop the kind of feed up to Haaland in the same respect, then that way we will set defensively, that will work. You've seen in games where Haaland only has 1 or 2 touches in a game. Yes, sometimes he only needs that to be able to score, but if we can kind of keep him outside the boxes and nullify the amount of touches he's going to get, he's not going to then be involved in the link-up play. We know that from Haaland. He's going to be running in behind, trying to get onto the end of things. He's not going to be doing everything else in between and having twice and a half like some strikers might be where they're linking up play. Then when you think of the other two kind of people in, we almost tried to nullify against Real Madrid with Bellingham and Vinicius, for example. So if you're they're not, again, they're comparable in terms of technical abilities, but Foden and Doku, if you compare them to between the same way we'll try and stop them in attack. If we stop Doku dribbling and Bradley has anywhere near the game he had against Real Madrid, then that'll be the kind of way to stop that. If we can stop Foden getting into the pockets in the same way we stopped Bellingham getting forward, and kind of Arda Güler tried to get involved in it a little bit at times as well. So if we can kind of fill those spaces and stop that feed up to Haaland, then I think it kind of nullifies any threat they've got. And then I think for us, when you look at their defence, their defence wouldn't worry me in any way, shape or form. If we can get rolling tomorrow in terms of our attack in any way, then I think if you got O'Reilly, for example, 1-on-1 with Haaland, with Salah during the game tomorrow, I think that'll be a worry area for them. If we can get at Núñez down the right-hand side for their fullbacks as well, I think that's their problem areas. If we can target that, I think if we create anywhere near the chances we did against Real Madrid, I'm with you on the Donnarumma front. I think one of the most overrated keepers for me. So if we can get anywhere near the amount of attacks we got against Real Madrid, then I think we will score goals. So that's why I'm feeling good about tomorrow.
Yeah, I would be as well. Okay, last topic of the day. We are going to get our score predictions in. But before we do that, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out as well. We will be live again following the game tomorrow, hopefully with good news and with a good win. And we will be within 5 points of Arsenal following them dropping points against Sunderland away from home. A very, very good Sunderland team at that. They handed the draw to Arsenal, in my opinion. But c'est la vie. What I'm thinking for tomorrow will be a 2-1 victory to Liverpool. Do you know what? No, we're keeping a clean sheet. A 2-0 victory to Liverpool. I think Hugo Ekitike gets on the board, and I think Florian Wirtz gets on the board as well. So if anybody is a gambling man, you know, to get that down, because I've been right about everything else so far this stream. And how do you see it ending up tomorrow, and who do you think the goal scorers are, if any?
I would say my score prediction earlier in the stream. I think it's going to be a 2-1 because I think it's just going to be a little silly mistake where we concede, and that's about it. But I think our two goal scorers are going to be Ekitike and maybe Salah, because obviously he's slowly bringing back his form. And I think that'll be the game where he clicks. Obviously, it's going to be just before international, but it will be a sign of maybe he's back on form, and he will score that second goal, and it will be majestic when he does.
Dylan, how about you?
I'm going to go with 3-1 to us. I think like I said, if we can create anywhere near the amount of chances, I think there is goals there for us when you look at their defence, especially their fullbacks. So I'm hoping that we can create a couple of chances and get some goals. I think they will score because I think there's just an inevitability about Haaland, isn't there, at the moment? I just can't see him not scoring at any point during the game. I think he will get one. But I think if we can nullify the threat as much as possible, I think, and stop kind of supply to him, then hopefully we can stop him getting more than one. And I think that'll do for us, I think, if it's 3-1.
Yeah, and just to add some more jinxing to it, I've captained him in FPL, so he can thank me when he blanks tomorrow. Harold, how do you see the game ending up tomorrow? What's the result and who's the goal scorers, if any?
I'm just going to do your job a little minute here now, and I'm just going to show that one. So I'm going to be the. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be the voice of treason for this time.
Okay.
To even things out, I'm doing a public service here. So I think I'm going. I hate this. Fucking.
You're really struggling to get it out.
Yeah, because I want to win, but okay, I'll go for a draw.
Okay. Fair enough. Do you think it'll be a 0-0 draw? We keep a clean sheet, or it'll be a score draw?
No, we'll score many goals and win the game, of course. But I'll to don't jinx it, I'm going to say a draw.
Okay.
Public service.
Fair enough.
Public service.
We get what he means. We get what he means
on that fence. Okay, we are going to leave it there, folks. I want to thank everybody for joining us, for myself, Dylan, and Harold. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out. Liverpool face Manchester City at the Etihad tomorrow at 4:30 UK time. We will have our post-game stream straight after it. Hopefully it will be a good stream and nobody will be screaming for a slot out, because they've gone very quiet lately. And I'd like to keep them quiet, because I can't suffer people that are like that and just dying for clicks like that. You're clueless, the lot of you. And I'll happily say it to anybody's face. Nonetheless, pleasure as always to have you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow. Mihai is going to be hosting the stream tomorrow after the game, so make sure you have your notifications on for that. If you're watching on X at the moment or Twitter, jump down into the comments below. You will see the link straight over to our YouTube page where you can leave a like, you can comment, you can subscribe, and make sure you have your notifications on too. For myself and Aaron and Dylan, thank you so much for joining us on this